Cool. All right, let me share. I I sent things to your hopefully it was your email, Casey. Did you get your email to your Gmail account? Did you get a chance to check that?
Yeah, I saw the document you sent over to me. Yeah.
Okay, great. So I'm just going to drive from there. But let me share. So look, so this was get this stuff out of the way. This was the agenda. So what I want to do is I kind of want to give you the high level 411 from my experience and my knowledge. I mean, many years ago, I had this as a side job, helping people with resumes and creating resumes and that sort of thing. And now
Mhm.
mostly in my experience is just doing it myself, talking to career coaches for myself and my own research. So I'm just going to share with you what I know, the basics, the high level, and then turn toward you exactly what you're trying to do and let you
Okay.
finish me off with any specific questions you have. And by the way, this is a this is a living document. When you do your resume case, it's a living document. You don't do it once and it's done. You're updating it regularly. You're encouraged to do that. So you'll take this input. You probably already started something. You'll update it. You'll hand it out to a few people who apply for jobs. But in a few months, it's very normal to like update it then, clean it up. I learned this. I should have done this way, that sort of thing. So we'll talk about that more later.
Right.
So forgive me if some of this stuff is rather high level if you know it, but I'm just going to rip through this. Just stop me on anything I'm going too fast on. Just so you know, resumes typically there are typically three types. There are more types, but the main ones are a chronological, a functional, and some people call it combo, which is a combination of the two. You will, 99% of people do what's called a chronological resume. And all that is when you get into it, you're going to show your work history uh, in the order in which you work your jobs, meaning the most recent first, and you just go backwards from there. Most people do it that way. And most employers like to see it that way because they like to see, well, it's easier for them to see that you have any gaps anywhere because they like gaps to be explained. Well, what were you doing when you weren't working during this time? Um,
Right.
functional, functional can be useful and it's kind of useful for situations like you when you're going from one industry or field to another. And what functional does, it doesn't go by dates and I worked here and I worked here. It goes by your skill set. Hey, I hear my skill sets in this that relates to this job I want to get. Here are my skill sets in this other thing that relates to the job that I want to get. And although we may think, well, maybe that's what I want to go with, I'm just telling you, most people want to see it in chronological order. And we'll see what that looks like once we get in there. Going along the resume, basic stuff. People go back and forth on this next one, Casey. Um, Never more than 2 pages. Most resumes, 1 page. You can go over to 2 pages. You can't go past 2 pages. I mean, this is just simple, basic rules. Okay. Usually, when you first start in your career, uh, it's not going to be any problem getting it on 1 page, and that'll be good. That'll be good. It's the people who've been working forever and done so many things, they find it difficult to stick it on 2 pages, 2 pages, but never more than 2 pages. So I'm working with you now. I know you work with, you probably consulted others. Highly encourage you as you go forward, if not now, as you go forward, to, let a professional look at it. I mean, there's a lot of people that provide these services. They look at your resume, talk to you about your experience. Uh,
Mhm.
this is your money, man. This is our money. So there's some things like people try to save us a penny or something like that. When it comes to things like this and training, I don't spare any costs because you do it one time, you pay it one time. And I'm like, this is going to make me $10,000 more than I'm making now, 20,000, 50,000. This is your
Mhm.
gateway, your entry into the door. So I'd be remiss if I didn't point that out. I don't want you to stop with me and be like, okay, I'm good with uh, the next 5 years or 10 years or so. You will hear about this here, ATS, Application Tracking System. That's a bot. That's a bot. I'm going to
Mhm.
come back to that one. That is critical, and that's really guiding how myself and others will recommend that you do the resume. And basically, what it is all I'll say about it now is this. when you do a resume, like we'll go back to how this current engagement that you mentioned to me when we last time we talked, when you spoke to someone directly and they said send it to me. That person may look at your resume, but if you're out there searching for resumes, ZipRecruiter, Indeed, searching for jobs on those sites, applying for jobs, and people apply for jobs, 90% of the time, 99% of the time when you're going that way, I would say it's even higher than 90. A robot, a computer program is reading your resume, at least your initial submission.
Right. I've heard of
And
that.
you've heard of that. That's the bot. That's the called the technically official called
Okay.
ATS. And it's very important. And that's basically how I'm guiding you on how to create this resume. And one of the things I shared with you was a video that I did with some of these points in here, and I talk about the ATS. It's only 8 minutes long. Put it up sometime when you got a minute, when you're just hanging around cooking dinner or something. It's only 8 minutes long. Throw it up, and it's going to talk about things that you do and you don't do to get through the applicant tracking system. Because the point is, you can have all the skills in the world, but if you mess up and create your resume in a way that the applicant tracking system uh, kicks it out because you had some in there you
Mm.
shouldn't have had in there, or don't select it, even though you say you have something, it's looking for that, but it doesn't see it, you just get kicked out. And you haven't even made it to the next step because this whole job process is always multiple steps. Sometimes it could be 2, 3 levels you got to get through, you know. So we'll come back to that. I won't cross that one out just yet. I'm going to talk about a few things that you should have. I don't know. I should have moved this one down. Don't. Okay. Oh yeah, I want this one down here. This don't include. I hope made this whole list of don'ts. Um, these are things you don't do anymore. Um, we jump down to that. And that's specifically because of the applicant tracking system. But we'll come down to there to the don'ts in a second. Let's jump back up here. So the basic sections of a resume. We jump in and look at it. Your contact, as a matter of fact, let's pull up one while we're looking. We'll alternate. And I think this is the template that I sent you. This was a template that I sent you because your resume, I think, should follow this form. If you look at it, I'm going to go back and forth from this sample that you're going to basically just type right over it with what your information is. You're going to type right over it. Okay, so contact info. Obviously, that's your name, where you live, your email address. And if you have a LinkedIn profile, you would put it in there. Okay. You do not need to
Okay.
put your street address. You can put Herndon, Virginia, what your phone number is, and then you can see in the brackets here, you will replace the brackets and what your email address is and put it right there. That's the contact information you need. In these sections, if you look at this like sections, obviously this contact information, your name would be bolded. And I think this one is a larger font. Yes, 12-point font. The section headings, I like to make not only bolded, but another 12-point font. Now, this is very important. You might think this is meticulous stuff, but one of the things, when we get to the don'ts, I'm going to tell you, you'll see this on a lot of people's resumes, and it's a no. They're making it more difficult on themselves. You don't put lines and underlines and dashes and graphics. When you're looking at that stuff, it visually looks pleasing and it clearly sections things off, but it could get kicked out very easily on those applicant tracking system bots. So the way I like to
Okay.
section
So
things,
keep it simple.
say again,
So you're just basically trying to say keep it simple.
keep it simple. That's the
Okay.
motto. That's my motto for resume creation. I was thinking about that after I created all this. Like, what am I communicating? And I said exactly that to me. That's what I wanted to leave with Casey. Keep it simple. So I use bolding and white space to break things off to make it easy. So of course your name would be bold. And instead of, I think the 11 point, I do usually use 11-point font for text like this. That's 11 point.
Okay.
But the sections, like your name begins the section. That's 12-point and it's bold.
Okay.
Summary, it might be, yeah, that's 12-point and bold. All of these are 12-point and bold. And then these here is 11-point. And you can see
Okay.
you break a space between things. That makes it very clean, simple, and easy to read. So you got this here. You don't need your LinkedIn, but if you have one, and again, your
I do.
LinkedIn, if you do you have a LinkedIn account?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
It should be professional. Remember, LinkedIn is
It is
pro.
up, yeah, it's professional and up to date. Yeah.
There you go. There you go. 'Cause a lot of people don't realize that this ain't your Facebook stuff with your parties and all that. Only if it's
No, yeah,
professional.
I made it for college and then I've been updating it over the years and stuff. And I'm trying to get up to like um someone was telling me I should like try to like start connecting with more people because I only have like 400 connections on there about.
Yeah.
Um so I'm trying to connect with more people and stuff and kind of use it more to get into the cyber realm, just to like learn new stuff. But yes, I made sure my mom also made sure that it's professional and and like I keep it up to date and
Good.
stuff.
Good. And that's good to have 400 connections at your age. That's pretty good. Even I didn't learn about how important that was till later. I would say try
Mm.
to get to 500 when you can. You could really feel good, but maybe we take a look at that. We have some time left here when done. But that's good. You're ahead of schedule there. So that's the contact section. This profile or summary section here. And again, this is just basically it's just a couple, two or three sentences saying just kind of like who you are and what you're looking to do. And again, this is something that was cloned that you're going to change up. I'm going to actually show you mine. Now, mine is
Okay.
obviously I've been out there for a good while, but again, it's a good contrast from where you are. It won't be that simple, it won't be that long, but it gives you an idea. Okay. But that's what this is for to have a blurb like that. You can see this person was a stockbroker. Um, uh, and you can see how that what that's for. So that's the what they call the profile or summary, or some people call it an objective session. Now, this next one here I got called education. I have asterisks by it. Now, this is totally up to you. You want to have education on there.
Mm.
This is what I learned. And the reason why I have asterisks by it is this. And this is how people coached me when I was much younger, and I think it still pertains today. If you don't feel like you have, if you feel like you have more education than experience in the job, the field that you're seeking, put the
Mm.
education up front. After you
Okay.
get in your industry and you've worked a job or two, nobody looks at education anymore. All they're looking at is your experience. Then you would take the education, which is important to have on there, and you would move it down toward the bottom. So I don't know where you're at and how it's going to look. I don't know your jobs and everything and what you have taken, but so I just left it here for the example. But that's the
Okay.
reading on this, on education. You definitely want to have a
Okay.
section in there. And another thing about these section names, and this again comes from knowing how the applicant, the ATS system works. You want to use common names, education, summary, experience, or work experience. You don't want to use different names. You can put whatever you want, but you want to use common things that you see because that's exactly what that bot is going to search for. Sometimes people put fancy names trying to be witty. Again, keep it simple. Use the common name. People have an education or training section. Sometimes that's
Mm.
training, sometimes education and training, something like that is fine. Experience or work experience, that's what you're going to see. So you want to keep that simple. Um, so let's look at the work experience section. Now, this is the one that comes in chronological order. And again, okay, you're going to take this one. I gave it to you. You may be this far along and all you're doing is updating things. Great. If you starting from flat square one, you can just, like I say, overlay this. So what you have here is the name of the job and where it's located, the name of the company, where it's located, and then it's chronological order. So they're going to want to know dates, month and year. Some people just put year. I might just put year. And if you're currently working, it's from when you started and you say current. And now
Okay.
what you will see under here sometimes is a general statement of what you did. As a matter of fact, let me jump over to mine very quickly. This is mine right here. You see the name of the
Mm.
company. I actually say the type of company is. That's the reason why I do that. This is the role I was in. And then this is a general statement. I managed and coordinated web operation teams in the development and implementation. Boom. That's generally what my responsibility is. So that's more what you're responsible. Some people, they even say responsible for blah, 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 blah. And then you give the
Mm.
bullets on the major things that you did. But depending on how much, sometimes it's acceptable to do this based on, how far along you are, what you've done. Or you could add, if you want to say, I was responsible for, or I managed a team of, or something like that. And I would say 3 to 4 bullet points, no less than three, at least three, and 3 to 4, or more. You can go a little bit more, but 3 to 4 is the minimum, okay, for any job you're going to list. And so you can see how this is out here. And by the way I keep this, some people, I'm just going to edit this right before us. I put tabs in there, and I don't know how comfortable you are. I'm in Microsoft Word. They all work the same, how comfortable you are. Some people just put a comma in a date. I've always done mine where I want it blocked out here because it's easy to read. It's easy to say job, and he worked this time, job, and he worked this. And I use the tab to make sure it's automatically lined up instead of hitting space bars, because then these would be off. So that keeps it lined up.
Cool.
If you have your current job on here, let's talk about tense, past tense, present tense. And this is the thing with the resume. There are a lot of things we do, Casey, where, okay, good enough. The resume is one of those things that you want to have precise, pretty precise, son. So after you go through this, Casey, you want somebody to review it. And I'm saying somebody else, send it back to me, send it to your mom, somebody else with some. I'm working on my resume right now, Casey, right now. I've been doing this forever. And right now, because I'm looking for a new role. And I got it out there and I put it out there, boom, because somebody had asked me for it right away. And I came back a month later. Oh my goodness, I got mistakes on there. I put the past tense when it should have been present. I misspelled this word. Those are death knells. You want to review this a million times. And I always say somebody else because I'll look at it here and my eyes are seeing what I want to see. After I updated and reviewed it 1,000 times, this is just me. I have to then print it out. So I have a hard copy and then I look at it slowly. 9 times out of 10, I find a mistake that I only find because I printed it out. And then once I'm done with that and I'm good with that, I let my wife or somebody else set eyes on it. So all I'm saying is for this is your money. You want to go to that extra effort because once you get it and it's set, you're good. Okay, so that's how the experience goes. Same thing before, just the spacing in between so it's nice and clean. You can easily see where the sections are. Oh, here's the next job. Here's the next job. So on and so forth. Skills. If you have, oops, what did I do there? If you have skills, well, let's talk about what it is. This is okay. This person had it. Knowledge of various money management systems, ability to analyze market trends. So what you're listing here is things related to the type of job that you want to get, okay, that could help you. And you would have these type of skills from the type of work you've already done that has nothing to do with IT. As a matter of fact, I made a list. I don't know if I shared that with you. I made a hypothetical list of some of the skills that
On the
the
soft skill.
transferable skills. That's the word, meaning whatever job you're working, those skills apply to other industry. So let me just see what I have. Did I have a
I
section?
have entry level IT soft skills.
Mhm. Good.
Uh,
What did you list in there? Give me a couple things you list in there.
I have knowledge with SQL programming, C programming,
Boom.
just
That's it.
operations. I'm
That's
sorry.
it, Casey. That's exactly what should go in there in that
Yeah.
section
Okay.
like that. Now
Yeah.
here, I see this is my actual resume. I called it core competency. I feel like I'm breaking my rule calling it core competency as opposed to skills. All this stuff is very specific to software development because I manage a lot of software projects. So I'm listing it out like this. I mean, this person here, you may be at the point where you can get it all in one row, but this is the way to get back space because mine is 2 pages.
Right.
So all of this wouldn't go down. I made two columns here so I could get double the amount like that. And we can work with it like that. And as you can see, I strategically move my skills even up above my experience because in the nature of the work I do, I know they are looking for these keywords, buzzwords like that. And we'll talk about that too at the end. Keywords are very important. So the skills section is good. And then what do we have next? Now the next, a lot of people call this like the optional parts of the resume, uh,
Mm.
where you list certification, volunteering if you want to, affiliation too, anything. You could call it whatever, anything you think might put you in a better light. A lot of people will list like other certifications and training. If you got certifications, I'll put that there. I'm personally in some groups or that I think makes me look better for my job. I'm a IT project manager and I have a project management certification. And so I'm a member of the Chicago area project management group. It's a big organization here. So obviously that makes me look good to show that I'm a member, I volunteered there, that sort of thing. That's the way you look at that. Let's see what this person, did they put anything? Okay, this person listed awards, whatever, but if you have something like that, again, this is optional. I mean by optional is, and a lot of times people feel like if they just going over to the second page and this ain't buying them much, you can just take that out. You got to have experience. If you have an education listed, you will have skills, but the other stuff, I mean, it's optional. You put it there if you think it would benefit you.
Mm.
Um, let's jump to mine very quickly. Down here. Yeah. Okay. See, my education is toward the bottom, and I just combined those two. And I told you I'm a part of that Project Management Institute and certified. Oh, and these are the groups. I'm an IT commissioner here in the village of Bolingbrook where I live,
Mm.
and I'm a project mentor. So I just dumped that at the bottom like that. Um, let's go back. Here's another one that tools and technologies. That could be a section. These are like software programs you have used. If you have used any, you've worked with them. You could have a section for that. It's all your judgment.
So you're saying try to keep it to one page.
If if,
If I
if you can,
okay.
if you can. But two,
So
just so you see here, this is my minus 2 pages. See,
mm,
I'm finished. Here's the bottom of mine. And I have a header built into mine. Well, on the second page, my name, number, page two, and then I just keep going like that. And you see, I fill the whole thing up. I had to work so it wouldn't go into page three. I'm at the very bottom of page two. So that's how that goes. Um, let's see what we got here. So the don'ts. Let's talk about the don'ts. And in that YouTube video, 8 minutes long, I showed you, it's real simple. Uh, it's not me talking, it's just some, I put it together, but it's just some music and words, just saying, here the do's, do this, here the don'ts. Let's talk about some of the don'ts are the key because I really want to call these out because if you got 100 example resumes, you would see a lot of these mistakes in there.
mm,
Uh, do not include your photo or headshot. Uh, no type of graphics whatsoever, tables or
okay.
any type of graphic type art. Keep it clean and simple. That's going to screw up the ATS system. No colors. You see what we looked at? It was all black and white. Where is it? It's all black and white. Okay.
Right.
Now, um, no fancy fonts. They talk about the actual fonts in that video. I talk about them, but the default fonts that come out, it says it, the ones you should use, because some fonts will screw up the readers too. So
Okay.
when you open up Word, the basic fonts that it comes up with, some of these, I can't remember it off the top of my head. I
Like
think
Times New Roman stuff, Arial Black.
Sans serif. I seem like I remember that being one. But anyway, it's in that video. Um, but I like to go with an 11 point, otherwise, 10 point font on your core content gets kind of small. I like 11. And oops, this is not the resume. Let's go. Yeah, this is 11. And, sometimes people go to 10 just because they're trying to squeeze it in. Not
Mm,
horrible, but the sections, I make them bold and make those 12.
okay.
Back to our agenda. Uh, we talked about don't include your street. Now you may be because you're in a major metropolitan area, and that's how Chicago is. Because if you live anywhere in Chicago, that's what recruiters want to know. Okay, you used to working and commuting and traveling around Chicago. So what I do is, and I consulted with people about this, I say major metropolitan Chicago, Illinois area. Some people would just say Chicago, Illinois, no matter where they live. They're just letting people know this is the
Mm,
area we're in. And by the way, Casey, nothing I'm saying here is magical or mystical. Everything we've talked about, things you're seeing, boom, just Google it. Should I put my city name on my resume? Should I put my address? You get nice chunk bits of little information that are spelled out clearly. So, and you can see here, you see how I did my LinkedIn here, since we're in here. That's how I did my LinkedIn on that second line.
mm,
Um, Another thing, since we're in here, I know we're on the don'ts, but since we're looking at mine, it's very important for you to have a professional email address. It can't be homeboy23 at hitmeup.com. You know,
right.
I studied this and it must be I come up with something your name. You don't have to have the dot somewhere where it's professional. Okay. School personal social. Yeah, we talked about no social media accounts. We don't consider LinkedIn, well, personal social media. LinkedIn is social media, but that's professional, not personal. Don't mention anything about salary, not in your resume, not in your resume. You don't need to do that.
Right.
Uh, don't need to include references. Everybody used to always have at the very bottom, it would say whatever, references, and then say available upon request, X that. You don't need that anymore. You don't need that. They know they
Okay.
can get them for you. So that saves space. Now, again, let's look at my professional statement. This is a bit much, but I've been doing this for a while. No, nobody would expect yours to be like this, but I'm just going to read it. Certified project manager and scrum master. So I'm letting them know I just don't know how to do this. I'm certified in it because they look for that. With a passion for building new technologies and business or focused solutions and that transform organization. um, Extensive experience in fast-paced, heavily regulated pharmaceutical environments with expertise in delivering websites, yada, 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 yada. Everything I included here means something. Okay, so this, because a lot of jobs I apply for, I know it's going to be in, they say that a lot. As a matter of fact, this is what keywords come in. This is what keywords come in. You're
Okay.
going to get this set up and you're going to hand it off to whoever who asks for it. But as you apply for more jobs, you always want to read that job description and pull out the keywords that they're talking about. A lot of jobs I look for, say, we need somebody, this is a fast-paced environment. They have the job description. So I'm very accustomed to working in that type of environment. So I weave it in like this. So when an ATS is reading that, the hiring manager will say, make sure they have this keyword in there, that keyword, okay? And so you want to weave those things in. I've been in the pharmaceutical environment all my life. They're going to, many times they look for people, not just a project manager, somebody who's worked in pharmaceuticals. So I'm very strategically dropping these keywords in there. You will do the same. I've worked with websites and software and applications. There's all type of project managers in construction, in marketing, and you just got project manager and everything. I'm in IT. I'm a technical project manager who works with systems and applications. So I want to make sure that comes across. That's all it's meant to just make a statement about my experience. and everything is key. You'd be amazed if you saw the time I worked on this last, and it changed over time. But the time I worked on this last with this one here, I probably spent a whole week with a professional career coach who had worked in HR for years and now run their own career coaching business, tweaking this, working at this, looking at my skills, making sure we got this right. That's how important this is. So,
Hmm.
as I told you, this is more of my skills. I chose to move it up top. Um, you can see the experience. It's nothing new here, but this is one thing I will tell you, and I think it's in the notes I shared. It's kind of an art to this, and it's going to take you some time, even years, Casey, to don't feel like, man, it's not looking like my unks was looking. Dude, it's going to take some time to get here. Don't be amazed or impressed by this stuff. I mean, like I said, I went to coaches and everything. You want to talk about, they say you want to talk about what you accomplished on your resume. Numbers and big numbers look impressive. The person, when somebody does grab your resume and read it, once it get past the ATS system, and then some lower level person may look at it, somebody in HR, the hiring manager, the person you work for, they're ultimately going to make it to them if you make it that far through all other checks. And they will sit down and they will look at it because they're looking to see exactly what you have. And what they like is things that stick out, what you accomplished. And I'm gonna just point out a couple of things because you probably already have something like this if you just think about it, even in your young career. Like this last job I did here, I'm talking about a first. This is a first. I managed a team, blah, 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 blah. And what did this team do? We launched some new product and websites for the first FDA approved, the first in the world. You know, that's what I was responsible for. That's the stuff that make people eyebrows go up. If you manage five people, say manage the team of five, numbers, think numbers. It don't even have to be like a first or a team of 100. Just put numbers in there. I saved the company increased sales by 20 to 30% by doing this. That's a common example they give you. Those are easy to point out. Now, every bullet is not like that, but if you could weave in anything like that, this one down here is even more impressive. You can see in the this is not what I was responsible for. And under my tutelage, under my responsibility, I helped this company and this brand of theirs grow from $9 billion in sale to $19 billion in sale in revenue. Here's one. Reduce operating costs by 30 million per annum per year as whatever it is I did. That's what they want to see. Okay, through his hand, through the way he worked, he helped see you help saving the company money, help increasing their bottom line through sales. You manage the team, just use numbers, big numbers. So as you're going through your bullet points and your experience, see if you can reword anything that could read that way. That stuff pops out at them.
Okay. I'm just thinking like so if I were so for my certification for cybersecurity, I did do a couple projects that they said I could put on my resume. Where would I put that? Like projects with editing editing like databases and stuff like that. Um,
Okay.
is there a section that you would say I should put that in, or is that just something that I should put in like my skills section? Like,
You know what?
uh,
It's funny because let me check my other notes here because I think I alluded to that. What a good entry resume agenda. We did that right in the resume. Is this it? Yeah, let's look here. Tip education. I first of all, short answer is I haven't done that myself, but I'm about to have to do that. Precisely that. I'm taking some training. They said
hmm,
we're going to give you all in this class projects. So you're not only getting the training and the certification, but you're going to be able to put these projects on your resume. So I'm being honest, I haven't done it firsthand, but I'm looking to do the same thing. But when I was putting this together, I threw this together at the end. And I think I shared this with you. Let me just read this. I highlighted these two sections. Currently working on education program listed this way. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because it sounded like I think I read where they said put it when you list the training, talk about the project, list education, you did complete a resume, include the school name, degree program. I saw that. Google, I will do it, when you have time and you do it too. I'm gonna look for an example of that because I
Mm,
know that's very common. You didn't do it on a job, but you did actual work. And I believe it
right.
would come in that training section. But I want to
Okay.
see it's very important as I'm telling you the way this stuff works. That's why I always like to Google get examples. I like to know. So I know it's going to be whatever you're training on, and it should be formatted and look a certain way. So I'll look for an example. If I find I send it to you, but you should do the same. But yeah,
Okay.
that's great to go on your resume. I'm really happy for you, man. I mean, you are not starting from square one, Casey, and I'm happy for
No, I've
you.
been working on this for a while. Yeah. I mean,
Uh,
the
what
past
else?
couple months I've just been in
Mhm,
uh in like training and studying for certifications, and that's why I've been trying to network so hard because like even when I talked to the head of IT for that company, he
mhm,
was like asking me questions and stuff, and I was like, I know a lot about this, but like one of the questions he asked was like, do you have any college? Do you have a degree? And I was like, no, I don't have any. I don't have a degree, but I do have college experience. I went to school for computer engineering, and I told him like a couple of projects I did in college, and he was
mhm.
like, don't even worry about it. Just send me your resume, and we'll see if we can get you a spot. I was like,
Man, I
cool.
think that sounds promising to me. That sounds promising to me. And one thing, so we walked through the resume here. I want to jump back to that. That sounds promising to me. But change career. Yeah, okay. That's one thing I want to verify with you. You did say it was cybersecurity was specifically what you were going for.
Yeah, anything that's like network security and
Okay.
cyber framework and stuff like that. I that's what my course was more tailored to.
Mhm,
So that's why I'm trying to kind of get into a role like that, just because I kind of already know a little bit about it, especially going through the college I did do.
mhm,
That's where like all my coding background and stuff comes from, and kind of computer engineering and cybersecurity kind of go hand in hand. We
mhm.
took a lot of simple classes and stuff. So
Right. So this whole closing thought statement I had, you're doing all of this. As I listen to you, this is what I'm saying. You're not starting. You've been doing training. You've done some projects. You're networking. Um, transferable skills. So let me talk about transferable skills a bit. Let me see. I have one good. Oh, I call them soft skills. Okay, soft skills are transferable skills. If when you look back at those attachments I sent, you don't have this, you make sure you have it. Like you
I do.
can, these sort of things, people have in their jobs, they don't know how many skills you have. If you're working somewhere, you're having to deal and communicate with people. When you're in IT, you're going to be doing a lot of this. Time management, I can't talk enough about that time management organization because you're going to be given projects and all these things. Okay, you got to do this, and you're on this team and that team and you got to give your input and all that. You got to be able to manage your time. You got to be able to organize yourself. So again, analytical capabilities, logical thinking. Okay, um, uh, that's where problem solving come in. All of us in IT are trying to. We're given a problem. We're trying to solve a problem. Okay. Um, all of us do some form of project management. I talk about problem solving here. And in many of these job descriptions, they mention problem solving, good communicator, good with the time management. You don't see that in many job JDs that you read. Of course, customer service, particularly wherever you're working, if you're working for somebody, either it's the public or if you have an office team or management team, you're not there working for yourself. You're serving somebody else. That's customer service. We're all there serving
Mm.
somebody else. Teamwork and collaboration. The fancy word they like to use these days is collaboration. But if you within a team, y'all coming up with a strategy, everybody's doing their part. You find a way to talk about that. the show, and you use word like I say that I collaborated, or we would collaborate once a week. We had these meetings where we all come together. I mean, this is your resume gonna take you right from the resume into that small talk that you had into how into preparing you for the interview, right?
Mm.
Because you're going to talk about those things. So, but these are some of the things I put together. I call them IT soft skills or transferable, transferable skills.
Now, when you say project management, it can that be like anything like project related at my job, like currently, like um,
It could be at your job, or it could be anything you do outside of your job. Obviously, when you talk, you're going to list your job, your work experience. So it would make more sense to speak like that. And what's a project? Project some temporary endeavor. For the next 3 months, we're going to work on this and get this done or whatever. And they assign you, or they assign you as the lead. And you would say that you would use it as a verb. Project managed ED, project manage the so and so and so and so. And it's nice to state the result, was able to accomplish this as a result. Or sometimes I just say manage a team of 5 to introduce a new product, uh, something like that. So if you could think of something with your job, that would be even best. But absent that, I've used volunteer type stuff I've done to, I would usually save that for the volunteer stuff for like the interviewing when I'm sitting down talking with people. But yes, that's how that works.
okay,
Uh, where do
cool.
you, so you have some resume now, or do you need to take Casey, the template and kind of overlay this right here that I shared with you with your info? Where are you at
I
precisely?
I do have a resume, but I would rather I prefer the template just so I can like change kind of how it's laid out. My
Okay.
resume, like I sent it to you a while ago. Uh, the my resume is kind of like it's doing too much, I think.
Okay.
After seeing like what like trying to keep it like simple and stuff.
Mhm.
I I would like the resume I made was like one of those resume templates that you find online, and like it has your name like on in the side and like stuff like that. So I'm like, all right, let me just start from square one. I mean, I have like I said, I have a full resume and stuff. I just need to like switch it around and probably
Okay.
add like a couple of different skill sets and whatnot, and then and definitely like kind of
Okay.
change the wording. The you were talking about um keeping it
So,
like current if you're the current job, like
mhm,
some of my stuff kind of says like past tense, like I managed a team of 75 people or stuff like that.
mhm.
So,
So that's good. You can see even this example I gave you. I'm looking at the example they use, trying to use them increase client portfolio by 35%. So that's real important. But so again, that's good. Don't be discouraged. You'll be amazed. Man, I've done since my college days. I started doing resumes for people, and I've helped people from time to time. I've done hundreds of work with people, hundreds of updating, whatever. Probably 50% of them were starting from scratch. They have nothing. So the way I look at you is, okay, you have some content. And even if it ain't on paper, you got this recent training. So you have content. Yeah, this should be fun. You just slowly bring it over, write it up, go through it, clean it up, and whether share it with me, share it with your mom. Obviously, she looks at a lot. She knows a lot about this. Share with someone like this. Don't share this with anybody. Share this with somebody who's serious, who care about you. When it comes to stuff like a job, professional stuff, business, my homeboys don't get this. They don't get this. I need serious folk who understand business. So people like that would be like, take it serious. But I'm excited for you. Even if you feel like you're not getting back to that guy that you ran into who ran the IT department, that was just a happen. You didn't know that person. That was just a happen chance meeting.
no, so what happened was I help run events at my restaurant, and we had an event for a cyber company. And so the CEO was the first person to show up, and I kind of just kicked it off with him and started talking about how I'm looking to like make a career change into the cyber world. And then he like kind of just looked at me. He was like, "Okay, let me get you in touch with the head of IT." So the head of IT came in and I like was helping behind the bar making a drink, and he was like, "Are you Casey?" And I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "The CEO was talking to you. Can I talk to you for a second?" And then like we just talked a
That's
little bit, and then he gave me his email and stuff, and it was yeah,
okay. Great, great. You have a contact. You have a contact. Even if you said, give me a week, let me get it. That's the whole thing. And it's the same thing with me. Opportunities come up and I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't get this together fast enough. Even if it takes you a little bit longer than when you promised them, you have a contact. And that's a pretty hot lead. I mean, I know when people are like, oh, whatever, yeah, hit me up sometime. No, those people sound serious. Like they want to. That's the thing about it, man. When you find yourself trying to do something, this is what I learned. People like helping folk trying to improve themselves, particularly younger people. They like helping younger people. When you show that, hey, I'm trying to do something better, you'll be amazed at how many people want to help you, man. A lot of people don't understand that because they never, try to do anything more. So that
right,
sounds very promising that the CEO, I thought it would have stopped right there, but he clearly went and talked to him and said, you go talk to that person. That
right,
that's good stuff. So you have a contact. So what I'm saying is, even if it takes a little bit longer for you to get this in a condition that you're just not feeling comfortable and it's taking a little longer, then you have it, and you're probably thinking, oh, the lead is cold. No, it's not cold. Maybe they are hiring one or two people right now, and they were kind of looking. But what you got to understand is they're going to always be looking for people. So I would reach out to them. I'll reach out to them by email. I'll reach out to them on LinkedIn, write them a nice note. Even if you have to, hey, I'm sorry, I needed to update my resume. But I really want to do this. Show yourself sincere. Don't try to be phony. Don't try to fool people with your experience. When you show yourself sincere, just a young guy trying to be serious and make it, you'd be amazed how people have been back and try to help you. And then the other thing about these connections is many times if they don't have something, they know somebody, their peers, maybe at another company, looking for the exact same thing. And they'd be like, hey, I got a person for you. That has happened to me so many times, Casey.
mhm.
So, uh, anything else we could think of right now? So I got the ball in your court. Anything we looked at, you should have this, but when we're done, if you remember seeing something and you're not seeing it, hit me up. I'll get it over to you. If you want me to review the progress while you're transforming your resume, of course I'll be happy to help get you there.
So I think,
And
yeah, I definitely want to like send it over to you, and I'll send it over to my mom. And I have another contact who's in the cyber realm that I talk to regularly, and he told me to send my resume over to him as well, whenever I kind of get it situated, so he can look over it since he actually works for the same company that I'm trying to go to. So, uh,
okay.
funny enough, I just he's randomly like a regular that comes to our bar, and he was like, "Oh, I work for that company, so yeah, shoot me your
Oh
resume
my
before you shoot
goodness.
it at IT." So, um, but definitely, I do want to like work on it a little bit. I do need that template that
Mhm.
you had. I didn't receive that in the email, but yeah,
Okay.
over these next days, I'm definitely going to be working on it. I'm off tomorrow, so I planned on just like kind of getting a little skeleton framework kind of going, and then I'll keep updating it.
Right.
And so I'm trying to get it done by the end of the year so I can send it over to them like maybe like on like the second or something or of January or like even or before Christmas. So um,
Mhm. Casey,
but yeah,
I've been using the email address. I think your mom gave me, but it was old. I'm like, I better make sure that's the right address.
the video and the soft skills document. I just didn't get the template. That's the only one I didn't get.
Okay, I'll send that to you directly as soon as we end this call. Good. Right. So, like I say, this would be iterative, is the word they like to use, meaning we coming back to it, coming back to it. And don't bother at all. I know it's gonna go like this. I know how resumes go. You work on it, hit me up, work on it, hit me up, work on it. Maybe every subsequent engagement don't have to take a full Zoom meeting. We just communicate quick. I can take a look at it, mark it up. But yeah, I'm not going anywhere. I'm happy to keep assisting on this.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
Cool. All right. Um, that's all I got. I'll be here.
All right. Well, I will definitely be sending you over periodically every once in a while. I'll shoot you a text message to let you know like I sent some stuff over. Um, and I'll keep working on it. Like I said, I'm gonna try to crank it out within like a week or two, just so I can kind of get it over to him. And I need to shoot him an email. Actually, I haven't shot him an email yet, so I'm gonna do that tomorrow. Shoot him an email, like just letting him know, like, hey, um, uh, I still have your contact, and kind of just do like a virtual handshake, just so he has my information.
Yeah. Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. Yeah, I highly recommend that. Highly recommend. Okay, great. Let me know if you need anything in the interim. So otherwise, I'll
All
wait to
right.
hear from you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, we'll talk soon.